It's really great to be here. My name is Charlie Spencer. My pronouns are she and her.
Ah, yes. Personal pronouns. I can already tell this is going to be a winner.
And Catherine and I work at the Center School, which is a progressive private school for preschool through 8th grade.
A progressive school, you say? I never would have guessed. And preschool through 8th grade. So you're getting them very young, I see.
I'm Catherine Greenwood Swanson. I am a teacher at the Center School, and my pronouns are also she and her.
Both of you are she and her. So there's nothing special about either of you. Got it.
And we're here today to tell you the story about how we addressed a problem that one of us had.
And in doing so, we solved a problem that all of us have.
I doubt you're going to tell us that you solved cancer, so I'm going to have to wager we're about to be presented with a panacea for our collective wrong thinking.
And it really started in your classroom, in your kindergarten classroom a few years back.
About 4 years ago, I was told over the summer that I would be receiving a new student in my kindergarten class who is transgender.
Transgender kindergarten. And you were told this ahead of time. So I can safely assume that the child's parents were imposing questions of sexual identity onto their minor child. Got it. Now, do tell us how you responded to this news as a teacher of young and vulnerable children.
So she was born with a penis, called a boy from birth, and he, and given male names. And before kindergarten, finally decided, no, it's really real, I'm a girl, she and her pronouns, and she gave herself a new name.
Finally decided. Yes, after many years of introspection and soul-searching, this toddler came to a definitive conclusion about his sexual identity. All by himself, I am sure.
So we knew she was coming to our school and our classroom, and we knew that we had to do some thinking about how to accommodate this student.
It was very exciting to welcome this family and to join them on their journey.
Or join them on their manic delusion, depending on one's perspective.
Catherine and her co-teacher were very welcoming, and we also felt that even though we had good instincts about how to love children and how to hold them, we really wanted to make sure that we were addressing this trans child's full needs. And so we asked a couple of experts what they thought we should be doing. And the first thing that they said very emphatically was, you really do have to sort out your bathroom problem.
The bathroom problem. This is the first priority upon hearing that a pair of adults are going to bring to you a transgender kindergartner. Okay, do tell.
And we thought, bathroom problem, we don't have a bathroom problem, she can use the girls' bathroom, and what's the problem here?
Right, and so did you ever think that your first TED Talk would be a potty talk?
Yeah, it does seem ridiculous, doesn't it?
No, I didn't expect it, but it's been a really fascinating journey, and it's worth talking about.
Yeah. So here we are, we're thinking, okay, we have a problem with our bathroom, and really, Catherine, you, I think, isolated that problem beautifully by saying that it really should be that this child could just use the girls' bathroom. And so can you fill us in a little bit more about what you suddenly started to think?
So we were just thinking about it being a school bathroom, which all of us have experienced, the girls' room and the boys' room with stalls. And what would it be like for our trans student who was not out to the rest of her classmates as trans? Maybe she would be in the future, but for now she wasn't.
Yes, I am sure that the travails of sexual politics were really important to the other kindergartners. Far more than My Little Pony or playing in the mud.
And if in lining up for the bathroom, she was in a stall and someone just simply saw that her feet were pointed the wrong direction because she was peeing standing up, that part of her personal story would be disclosed before she was ready.
Right, and so that definitely stands out as a problem. Keeping this child feeling safe, feeling as though she has privacy. And so simultaneously, as this story is unfolding, we have an admissions visit. We have a tour. Tours go on all the time at our school. This is a queer family who's come to see the school for their small child. We attract many queer families because we're a progressive school. Our very experienced admissions director takes this family on a tour, and when the gender nonconforming parent says, "Could you please show me to the bathroom?" our director didn't really know what to do. She didn't know which bathroom to take them to.
The gender nonconforming parent. Okay, so this person was presumably an adult? Why not just point them to the restrooms and let them decide?
And she felt extremely awkward and sort of pointed sheepishly in the direction of the hallway where the bathrooms are. And as soon as the tour was over, came over rushing back to me to say, "We have a problem." That didn't feel good. That felt really just uninclusive and unwelcoming. And I put this person on the spot without meaning to.
They asked where the bathrooms were, and they were told where the bathrooms were, and so you're all wringing your hands over whether you might have hurt their feelings. You do understand that this person must exist in the rest of the world. This couldn't have been the first time this had happened to them. So, are you the teachers at this grade school, or are you students? Because you're acting like children.
So now we have two problems. And this is a school that's been around for 30-something years. We pride ourselves as being a social justice school, and we want to get down to brass tacks and figure this out.
So you are going to attempt to please all of the people, all of the time, and offend no one. Especially not a child who has been indoctrinated by his parents to think that he's a girl, which is not at all a form of psychological child abuse. No, you need to bend over backwards, as teachers, to accommodate insanity. Got it.
So I think, well, we better take this to our staff. And in doing that, presented the issue as, you know, we have enrolled a trans student, and you also need to know that we will be attracting more and more trans families, we imagine. And we really think we need to address this bathroom issue. So what do you think? We're thinking we should maybe make all gender bathrooms. And the staff said, well, you know, what's interesting for us is that actually this has always been a problem.
This has always been a problem, even though this would be your first transgender kindergartner. Okay, I will bite. How has this always been a problem?
So it's important for you to understand the structure of our school and the way the facilities work. We have two buildings in our school. One is for the middle school, and one is the main building of the school, which has the preschool through 5th grade and the administration. In that building, which we call the brick building, there are two bathrooms downstairs that are single room bathrooms that you can just lock privately to be in. And on the other floors are the bathrooms that the students mainly use, which are your typical multi-stall boys and girls rooms. Over in the middle school, we had one girls' bathroom with 2 stalls and a shared sink, and in the boys' bathroom, we had 1 stall and an open urinal with a sink.
Fascinating. And now, I would have skipped over all of that, but unfortunately it's necessary to know in order to understand the rest of this epic tale.
So we took the problem to the staff and said, We're thinking we just need to take away the boys and girls signs and make all of our bathrooms all gender bathrooms. It seemed pretty simple. But then the staff brought up their own concerns.
And said, really, often, the middle school teachers specifically pointed this out, that they would wait and come across to the administrative floor of the brick building to use the lockable single-stall bathroom because they just, when do you feel most vulnerable? Well, when you have your pants down and you're in the stall and maybe, a student is coming in or a parent is coming in and you just don't want that. You want your own private spot, and rightly so. And so this seemed like we're getting closer to really the fact that this is not just one person's problem, but I'm not finding that the solution is just making everything all gender. And so the staff, in their inimitable way, come up with what would be a very expensive idea, which is that we'll make all the bathrooms single-stall, lockable bathrooms. And I'm watching money that we don't have flying out the window.
Yes, that would be a stupid solution. A stupid solution suggested by the staff of a private school. If I were a parent, and were hearing this story absent of all other context, it alone would make me think twice before sending my child to be educated by such unreasonable people.
And I'm also thinking about time and how we don't really have any. We have to solve this problem now. So I think to myself, what other consultants can I get who aren't going to cost me a lot of money and who will make some sense? And I thought, how about our middle school? How about our middle schoolers?
Your middle schoolers. Your middle school students. You are abdicating your responsibility as a school administrator to your underage students. The word cowardly comes to mind for some reason.
They're smart. They're cheap.
Ah, yes. Cheap child labor. A hallmark of social justice education.
And they're fiercely opinionated, and they're going to be using these bathrooms for sure. So I went over, met with the middle school and the staff, explained to them the issue, and they were, especially when they found out that there would be trans students coming into the school, and they knew that trans families were coming to look at our school, and that these people were feeling uncomfortable in what they feel is their home, to the extent that the minute they walk in the building, they take their shoes off. So this is not a place where they are accustomed to the idea that anyone would be feeling uncomfortable.
Maybe I missed it. How do you know what people were feeling again? Did they tell you, or are you projecting?
And the children said, yeah, that is a problem. And so I said, how about all gender bathrooms? And they said, I don't really like peeing next to somebody, especially if it might be somebody I have a crush on. Or I don't really want to have to, be in a bathroom with somebody of the opposite gender, and when I'm really wanting to go in there with my best friend and cry and gossip.
Cry and gossip. Well, these are middle schoolers, but yes, these kids seem to have the exact same concerns as several conservative state legislatures who have proposed or passed various bathroom bills. Gosh, and here I thought you were a progressive social justice school, because it seems you have failed to indoctrinate these kids effectively.
What else have you got? So now I said, well, the staff had suggested that we do all single-stall bathrooms, but we really can't afford that. And brilliantly, a few of them, who are just incredibly practical people, came up with a really great solution.
So the solution that our students came up with was that we would take the stalls that we already have and simply put weather stripping on the doors and in the cracks so that if someone's in a stall, no one's able to peek in. This wasn't an issue of people being in bathrooms with opposite gender people, this was an issue of them saying, you know, these bathrooms and spaces just aren't private enough for anyone to begin with. So weather stripping on the doors, we built a stall around the urinal in what was the boys' bathroom in the middle school, so that became a private space. And they came up with the ingenious idea of then also, in any of the bathrooms that were multi-stall, putting a lock on the main front door. So that if you went in and found yourself alone in the bathroom and wanted to create, essentially, a private space for only you, you could lock the main door.
Now, I won't lie. All of that sounds completely practical, given the ludicrous situation at hand. But it's a wonder that an educated adult, who is drawing a paycheck from a private school to make such decisions, couldn't have come up with it on their own.
So we now transitioned our bathrooms to being all-gender bathrooms with private stalls that are also able to convert into single-occupancy bathrooms.
And a really creative student who was a lot like these friends we just met a few minutes ago, just a wonderful artist, came up with a sign for us for our bathrooms. So down went the boys' signs, down went the girls' signs, and up went Lucy's sign, which is, I think, pretty wonderful. And so that went up on all of our bathrooms.
That looks like a logo for a warning campaign from the American Heart Association to not strain too hard while taking a dump.
So now, school's out, off they go to their homes where actually all gender bathrooms rule, right? You have all gender bathrooms in most of our houses. And I spent the summer thinking about what I would write in our parent handbook and what I would write to parents to get them ready for the next school year. And all the signs were up, all the weather stripping was put in, locks were put in, it was great. Came back in the fall, and your new class comes in, and what are the teachers doing?
Well, so before school, we're all talking about the rollout of this new arrangement in our school. Returning students will have to be taught that there's no longer a boys' room and a girls' room. Is it going to make people feel uncomfortable? Are parents going to raise concerns? Are children going to raise eyebrows about why we're doing this? Are we going to blow the cover of our student? What's going to happen?
Blow the cover of your student. You had an assembly telling every kid you needed to make changes to the bathrooms to accommodate incoming transgender students. Did you not think that every incoming kid wouldn't end up being scrutinized anyway? These are kids, after all.
The first day of school is an exciting time. There's a lot to be done. And we all braced ourselves for the fallout of how we teach the bathrooms in our school. Something that we realized was to our advantage is that at our school, we do exactly what I said, which is we teach how to use our bathrooms.
So, none of your students arrived at your school already potty trained? Amazing.
We realized as a staff that if we had a problem, if the automatic concern of putting people of different genders in a bathroom together is always that maybe there will be misbehavior or assault or something untoward. But at our school, we know that we teach how to use the bathroom. In fact, the children, they write the rules themselves, and they're quite reasonable, except we have to remind them to include hand washing.
You teach the students how to use the bathrooms, but the students write the rules themselves. I am confused.
But that if we had people misbehaving in the bathrooms, we wouldn't have a gender problem. We would have a misbehavior in the bathrooms problem. So we simply went through our regular routine of teaching the bathrooms, having them come up with the rules, and we launched our day. At the staff meeting that afternoon, we all met together to hear the horror stories and the fallout, and in fact, there were none. There was nothing to be said. Everyone said the children shrugged their shoulders and went on with their day.
Wow, that is incredible. Golly, if only the adults running the school could have been so mature about the situation.
We then also noticed that previously, from the transition between preschool and kindergarten, we had actually been teaching our children to divide by gender, and we were simply removing that part of our process.
Yes, I am sure the concept of gender division no longer exists in the minds of your students wholly because you created unisex bathrooms. What heroes you are.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the most interesting things was some of the middle schoolers saying, well, when I was in preschool, we had all gender bathrooms, but then you changed all that. And so that was a real aha. And so we, out of the mouths of babes and all of that. So I listened out for the phone to ring for an angry parent to call and say, this just won't do. I've read your letter. I waited the next day to hear what happened when children came home to say I had to pee in the stall next to somebody of a different gender, and it didn't happen.
Given that you run a progressive, social justice-minded private school, I really have to wonder if the silence was born out of passive agreement or out of fear that any complaints or concerns would be deemed transphobic.
And what happened instead was that we realized that we had really addressed our mission even more fully as a progressive social justice school. We had gone from what was a bathroom problem to a solution of etiquette, a solution of respect.
It's more like a solution of overriding fear and paranoia to accommodate child abuse.
And what we ended up with were really just a bunch of happy kids.
And happy teachers.
And happy teachers, and a happy head of school. And it didn't cost very much money. And what we really want to say is that with the climate that our country is facing at the moment, our story feels really important to tell.
Yes, I am sure it feels really important.
We reach out to you and to those of you who have a voice that goes beyond this room to say, giving people a safe place makes them able to learn, and it is imperative that we do that. Thank you.
Yes, a safe and insulated place of social justice and transgender toddlers, where the students outsmart the teachers and the teachers pee their pants, worrying over bathroom etiquette and whether it will hurt the feelings of a toddler being psychologically abused by his parents. I do believe that the children are our future, and our future is looking awfully scary. As always, thank you for watching.